Need to see those glasses again. Throw them on one more time now that okay, there they are. Oh, there he is. Dude, I am digging it. I am excited to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with me. Um
My
I
pleasure.
spoke with a number of people that were involved in Unchained, but I'm excited to get your kind of unique perspective on it since you were in a very very exciting part of the film, um, and you just came out there and you just you really went all out. I was curious if you did it in one take or if you had done multiple like announcer takes for that scene.
How much of the story do you want to hear? How much time do we have?
You go for it, and I'll let you know if I need to cut you off. You have a lot more interesting things to say than I do, so
Oh,
you go for it, and I'll cut you off if I need to.
but you're a literary Joe from the Literary Joe podcast, the Inner Child podcast. So I get to have my inner child come out.
There you go. Release it.
Oh, the
Get crazy.
child is a little bit intimate.
No, the child is fine.
Well, let's hear from
Okay,
him.
here's the thing. I can give you the lead up to it if you want, but I'll just answer your question first. And that is when I was on the set location, I went up to Raphaello at an appropriate time and I said, okay, whenever you're ready, let me know. He says, we have to do this, then we'll get you up there. And then we're going to take lunch before we get you up there. No, don't take lunch. Get me up there. Let me get this done. But I said to him, I can give you the dialogue word for word, the way that it's written, or I can. He says, no, make it your own. He says, that's just a general idea, but that's why I needed to have you so that you could make it your own. I said, okay, here's what I will do. Because I feel an obligation to the integrity of this project to do it, at least have it on film for you, the way that you wrote it. Why don't we do a couple, then do whatever, however many you want. And at one point, when you have gotten what you want, give me one more take and then I'll do mine. He said, okay. So the answer to your question is after I did his dialogue, the one more take was done in, it was one take.
Nice, nice. So the one take that you ended up doing of your own, that's what ended up going in there then.
Yes.
I loved the like there was the point where like you not only were you so like you hammed it up, it was perfect, but there was also like you had the line where she had said something like we're all or we're not here willingly, and you're
I'm
like aren't we all or something like that.
something that to the effect of, I'm here against my will. Something of that
Exactly.
sort.
Exactly. And like the look in your face, like that was just like, oh my God, like that was a revealing moment and you nailed it. You
Aren't
nailed
we all?
it.
Yes.
So did
Well, it's
Raph
only 3 words. I mean, how difficult could it be? I know for most people it would be terribly difficult, but for someone such as myself, the original Mr. Wonderful of professional wrestling and 3-time Hall of Famer. Oh, wait, am I getting into the wrestling a little more? Too much. Yes, go ahead. And if you see me looking over there every once in a while, it's because I have a couple of monitors going. You are on that monitor. The camera's here. I know the camera is you.
Yeah, no, I had
I
bad with that too. I'm terrible with that. Like this, technically, I'm looking at the camera now, but I'm always looking at you when you're speaking, so I'm like looking to the left. I'm used to it. And that wonderful hair you've got more hair than I do, and I am a child. I am
then
an outer child.
then you will appreciate this vast story. Hulk Hogan hates me.
Yeah.
When I see Hulk, he says, I hate you, Rock Riddle. And I said, really? He says, your hair. I said, yes, but Terry, his real name is Terry. I said, but Terry, it's so difficult to keep looking great. You remember, don't you?
Dude, nice, nice. That's fun that you get to poke fun at these people. You're like, oh, Terry. Terry's his name. Terry's his name. Like
Well, see, here's the thing. We have been taught the media tends to think for people, and they've told us what we're supposed to believe, and we can't think these thoughts, and we can't say this, and we can't have jokes, and we can't do that because it's been a long, long, long time since that thing that used to exist in the country called, what did they call it? Started with an F. Oh yeah, freedom of speech. But see, we can go back and we have to remember, don't let those people control your mind. It's psyops. Don't let that happen. You are the person who's in control. You are the person who understands that there's humor in everything. This last 15 months, there's humor in there. Can you see the humor in it? Oh, so serious. How dare you say that? You're such a horrible person. No, every day above ground is a good day. And every day is an opportunity to make a difference. And every day is an opportunity, not every day, but one day is an opportunity to be on the Literary Joe Inner Child podcast and drive your ratings way millions and millions up, more than you ever thought you would achieve.
I'm so excited. We cover this stuff on the Ring Report, which is a big wrestling website, and I've made little like tidbits in the other articles saying that we're going to have you in a feature with you, and people are pretty excited about it. So you had mentioned wrestling a little bit. Can you tell me, like, obviously you have a lot of great experiences in your, I don't want to say many years, but in your tenure,
few decades.
Are there any experiences kind of like that, conversation with Hulk that stand out for you, like stories that you like to bring up and mention?
Okay, this will take, I would say 3 to 4 days. So we'll have to take breaks every once in a while, to bathroom breaks, something to eat,
Get
take
some
a
water.
fast nap. But I have the water here, so it's okay.
All right, solid.
If you're not prepared, that's
I'm good.
Here, let me hand you this one. There you go. Now you take your hand and you come down like this with water in your hand, and people will think, okay, we'll do this. This is great.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because it turned from a bottle into
a cup.
A cup, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you stories, tons of wrestling stories. Do you want to talk about the movie more? What's the purpose of this podcast?
Yeah, I had planned on bringing it back to the movie a little bit, but because you had just kind of jumped into the wrestling ring a little bit, I was going to let you go wrestling a bit and then swing back to Unchained.
Yes. Well, you see, I want you to get your $1,700 worth. That's my honorarium, of course, and I shouldn't say that because I charge most people a lot more than that. But you apparently are friends with, or Raphaello.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Raphaello, then bring me back to the wrestling. I can give you wrestling stories forever and ever and ever, but then we won't have time to talk about the movie Unchained.
Good point. And Raphaello mentioned you when I was talking to him. He had said that, like you mentioned with the takes and doing your own thing. He had said like he had specific people, like specifically you, because he knew that you would handle the character in the way that he needed you to. Larry Andrews, the warden.
Yes.
He had kind of mentioned that Raphaello's thing is that he, writes a general thing and then he wants you to do it. He's like, you're the sous chef. I'm the executive chef. Now take this and do it the way you would. This is just an outline. So I liked the way that you had brought that together. But did you ever work with Raphaello prior to this?
No, I've known him for a long time. I do seminars and that kind of thing within the entertainment industry and within other industries as well. I have a few different hats that I can switch. Raphaello has been a guest speaker of mine at these events several times. We've had lunch together probably dozens of times. I just want to say, in addition to Raphaello being a friend, I don't think I've ever said this to him. So if he listens to it, I hope, if you don't let him hear it, Raphaello is one of the most brilliant people I've met. And I've met many, many hundreds of people in the entertainment industry. He's one of the most brilliant people I've met. This man has a thorough understanding of feature film. He continues to surprise me. He's intellectual, meaning he has, I don't know what it is, and he may not know, but he has to have a really high IQ. He has a tremendous amount of knowledge, tremendous amount of ability, and he's one of these people who can move quickly. I've been on so many sets where people are, okay, well, we're going to, okay, I'm glad you're here on time, and you can go and get your coffee and donuts and whatever, and go into makeup and wardrobe, and by that time it'll be time for lunch, and then after lunch, probably by mid-afternoon, we'll get you in front of the camera, and then it goes to the next day, so they paid me for a day to sit there. Raphaello moves quickly. And in fact, I will tell you that the amount of time I was in front of the camera, I was there one day. I went there one day, watched a few other people work, watched Larry with his firearm. And when he saw me, because I'm a firearms instructor as well and a competitive shooter, and he's been to one of my classes, Firearms for Film and Television, to teach actors how to utilize them safely and properly so they look believable in front of the camera.
I know you had a whole gun thing on your website. So yeah, I'm glad you had brought that up. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how you worked with Larry and the guns?
Yeah, bring me back to Larry and the gun for just a, okay, well, let's do Larry and the gun. So Larry has this big macho revolver and 450 caliber. I don't know what it is. It's like a hand cannon. I'm saying, okay, don't do jokes about compensating or anything like that, Rock. He's a good guy. You guys are friends also. And it's hard for me to, my humor is so extreme. It's hard to say, so it's a mighty big gun you have there, Larry. Is there a reason that you went with such a big? But whenever he saw me and I see the gun, because I'm very aware, and I see a firearm out, boom, he says, Rock, let me show you that it's unloaded. And I said, Larry, all firearms are always loaded at all times. Get that. Always, always, always. And then when he would leave the room and he came back in, I said, let me see it again. He said, why? I already showed. I said, yes, but you left my sight. He says, Rock, you're not teaching on the range right now. I said, yes, but there are a lot of people here and a lot of lives. And a lot of times people make mistakes. No such thing as an accidental discharge, always negligent discharge. But people may say, well, I run a very, very safe range. I'm the safest of anyone I've ever known, and a lot of safe people. And I've worked with some of the best people, best firearms masters anywhere. And I've been very lucky. And I continue to train, even though I compete and teach. I continue to train. I take at least two to four classes per month still. But anyway, I've had people say, Rock, you're paranoid, aren't you? I said, absolutely. But the question is, am I paranoid enough?
What a great way to put it. And
yeah.
So when did you first start getting passionate about gun safety?
When I watched for years television shows and movies where people were being dangerous, actors with their, here's a little toy, actors with their finger, less than $13 on Amazon. In the firearms for film and television, I have things like this so that people can feel it. They know where to put their finger. They know they don't put their finger on the trigger. But I saw so many over and over and over, people saying things like this. It's called death. And people, I'm a tough FBI agent. Here's my partner over here with the gun pointed toward my partner's head with my finger on the trigger. And I want everyone to believe me that I know what I'm doing, that I'm actually playing this. It's like an actor playing a violin who it's obvious God, could you not have taken an 1 hour lesson so that you know to go like this instead of like that? Gee, it doesn't take a lot. If you're going to do a role, research your role, be that character, bring that character to life. And if you're handling a firearm, you have an awesome responsibility. If you are an actor and you're on a feature film, for example, you're using a firearm and you're using it unsafely, guess what? There are lots of people. Over 60% of film and television roles involve firearms. There are lots and lots and lots of vulnerable people who will emulate you. And now little 5-year-old Johnny is at his friend Stephanie's house, and she's 5 also. And Stephanie's mom and dad think there's no way that little Stephanie knows where the key is to the lockbox that has their family gun. But she's known for years, because most adults underestimate the intelligence and the connivingness of little children. So little Johnny, I think I gave him that name, and what's the girl's name? Tiffany?
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Well, it is now. It is.
Okay, little Johnny, little Tiffany. No, Stephanie. Okay,
Yep.
little Johnny, little Stephanie, and their parents aren't in the room, so they're not going to touch it, but they want to open the box and just look at it. And then when little Johnny sees it, now he's going to take it out and he's going to do what he saw
in the movie.
That actor right there do it in the film. And little Tiffany or Stephanie, whichever her name is, dies on the way to the hospital. Thank you very much, you incredibly selfish actor who did not bother to learn. Plus, you look stupid, and we have to transcend disbelief. We can't believe that you have any idea what you're doing with your finger on the trigger and having it pointed in the dangerous direction. Okay. Anyway, so for years I said someone must come up with some sort of a class, some sort of an instruction for actors so that they can learn how to use handguns properly. And nobody did, so I did it. So, and now that can I say the ruling elite and their gimmick is over? I'm sorry. Now that we've been unlocked, now that we've been, wait for it. Now it's been 15 months, and now that we have been unchained. Boom, unchained.
There you go.
Now I'm still doing things online and still training and teaching online, but now it's going to go back to in-person things as well. So I'm looking for some new locations, since a third of the businesses went belly up during the last 15 months. Places that I used are not available anymore. So there's the reason, and I really feel good. I have offered this, and I hope people don't pick up on it. I have offered to producers I know. So when I see, here's a producer who's also starring in his own film, and he has a picture of him with a handgun in a poster, and his finger is right there. And I sent him a nice, who's in mind right now, sent him a nice message, personal message, email, I think. And I said, I know that you have a lot of firearms in your upcoming film, and you want to make sure that everyone knows what to do and what not to do, and how to really look good, how to really be that character, and to understand what that firearm is capable of doing, and the psychological and physiological responses that the actor will experience. Tunnel vision, a greater visual acuity within that. Excuse me, the law enforcement officer says, after someone has just had a gun pointed at them and they defended themselves, what did the person look like? I don't know. What was the weapon? It was a Smith & Wesson. It was silver. It had black on this. It had a stripe on the left side, which I saw, which was like a red, almost looked like a scuba, and there was a black dot on the front. Okay. And your tunnel vision at 20 feet, you were able to see how much? 12 inches. Yeah. And your blood pressure was the highest it's ever been in your life. And your heart rate was like apoplexy. And the tips of your fingers you couldn't feel. And your mind's not working correctly because that's extreme stress. You want to play a part? Actors, you need to know that that's what you're going through. And I don't care if you're law enforcement and you've been a member of SWAT and you've done it for 30 years. You still will have those kind of reactions. Over 50% of the people who have to do that in reality, they have to protect their own lives or the lives of someone else. Memory loss is involved. Not convenient memory loss, true memory loss. Anyway, there's so much like that that's so fascinating, and people don't understand it. But if the actor understands it and can portray it and can bring his or her barriers down, bring the energy up, be totally vulnerable, then you can see through the eyes and you can see the soul. And you can see what's happening in that person who is just about to save the lives of other people, if he or she can. Anyway.
I think it definitely adds up.
How was that for an audition?
That was awesome. I think that adds a lot of authenticity to performances. So I think it's really important that you do that and continue, working with producers and people who may not have that much information like you do.
I told this particular producer, I said, you need to get training for these people, for yourself and everybody else there. I will do it for you for free. You take care of whatever expenses I have. I will do it for you because I don't want to see your actors looking bad. I kept away from him as much as I could. And then I see other people, same thing. I'm playing a CIA agent. Look at me. Please, 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 please don't show that. The thing about performing is we're not pretending. We are there. That is real. So even the thing that I did with Unchained is like, oh, this is like I said, this will be an interesting joke. I wonder if this will get over. And I was basically doing it to entertain myself and the other people. And they liked it. And it ended up in, of course, in, I think, several different trailers. Every trailer there is, I think that's in there.
Yeah.
And then I have top billing over Eric Roberts.
Oh.
And now, guess who had to sign off on that? Eric Roberts. That's what I was told. I said, oh my gosh. I went up to do a favor for Raphaello. When he approached me, I didn't want to do it. I told him, I don't have any time. I don't have the time to do this. I'm really busy. I'm not an actor. You cut me, I bleed wrestling still. And I've got all this other stuff. I'm a publicist, for goodness sake. And am I the best that Hollywood's ever seen? Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I have not met the second best yet. Boom. But I told him, I said, really, you know so many people. You've got 60 some film awards, Raphaello. You've won everything. You know everybody. You must know at least 100 people who could do that role like 100 times better than me. So I put this in writing for him. I said, plus those people, that's their desire. That's their passion. That's their dream. Please give someone a chance who would truly, totally appreciate it. Someone who can do it better. And he responded, did not take long when I got the response. And he says, Rock, truly, I do not know I do not know or know of anyone who could do it better than you. I said, okay. What's the call time? What's the location? How long will it take? And he says, for you, Rock, it will take less than an hour. He was right. A lot of waiting, of course, but hurry up and wait.
Was there ever any consideration for you to do any other, parts and scenes once you were there? Or was it always planned for you to just be this big cameo? You'll come in and introduce this big thing. Was that always planned to be the main thing with you, or were you ever planned to be added into other scenes that maybe you guys just didn't have time for?
As far as I know, that was all that Raphaello had in mind. He knew how busy I was. He knew basically it was like, you want me to come to downtown Los Angeles? Okay, that's good. Or you can send a car. Okay, I can go there myself. Oh, but it's not a good area, and I have to park in secured parking where you have security guards, and then someone's going to drive me. I park in the secured parking myself, and then I just walked. I figure if there's any, aren't you afraid of being robbed? If I run into anyone who has the ability to rob me, I feel like they deserve the money. But I hope they brought a lunch, because it's not going to be fast. They're going to have a battle on their hands.
That's hilarious.
That's true. Plus the weapons that I have, these things. And possibly, potentially others. But in, 36 states. Yes,
Wow.
I'm legal in 36 states, so I avoid other states.
Wow. 36.
Well,
I mean, that's got to be all the important ones. That's 36 is a lot of states.
Even California. Do you believe that? The People's Republic of California? Oh my gosh, you have a CCW there. How did you do that? Who did you have to kiss? What? Who's behind did you have to kiss to do that? Yes, be careful. Don't say who did you have to kill. No, that doesn't go over well. Anyway, it's really good to be able to kid around about things. The more serious the situation, the more humor I will do. If I'm talking to someone who's on their deathbed, they're going to be laughing more than they have in a long, long time. And maybe we'll be able to extend that life, help them to want to have more. Yeah, you like that. You think you're laughing at my dumb jokes. Hey, if you laugh at my dumb jokes, you're only going to encourage me to do more. So busy. I tell you what, you're going to be here for a while in the hospital bed, right? Okay. Suppose I come back next Thursday. I get so many jokes. I've got so many I can tell you then. And we'll have to wait until there's no nurses around, no doctors, and have to make sure there's no recording devices because these are really good. Give the person some reason to stay around for another week and then do it again.
That's awesome. That's
See,
awesome.
We all need to make a difference. You're making a difference by making people aware, by introducing more people, by causing people's minds to expand, to take in more and more information.
And the things we learn, like I didn't expect you to teach me so much about gun safety. Like
you asked
so much. Well, and like it's like when I talked to Raphaello, I didn't know that he had such a detailed history with like theater. Like you could tell that he's a thespian too,
yes.
just from speaking with him, and I think that probably is a lot of the reason why he allows performances. Like he wants the actors to handle the performances because he, as an actor, I think he probably gets multiple facets of it. Did you, after doing this? I know you filmed this a couple of years ago, prior to lockdown, right?
Wasn't it like about a year and a half ago? Have I lost that much time? I think it was just before. Yeah.
Okay. So then have you done any other similar things since then, or do you have any plans to do any like other big cameos?
I have no desire to do any acting. I turned down 2 to 3 producers per month. That's probably why they want me more. But I turned them down and I said, look, I don't have it in my blood. I know professional actors who will do a fantastic job for you, who would love to do this, who would do all sorts. Okay, who would jump up and down in glee and joy in order to do this for you. And they do a fantastic job for you. I really don't have the desire. I don't have the time. I'm busier now than I ever have been in my life, and I'm taking time for myself. So I don't do 110-hour weeks anymore. 65 for other people, maximum. The rest for me. And if I don't take up that entire 65, then there's more time for me. I can take myself to a movie. I may do that after we finish. I have to check my schedule. I think I've got a little bit of a break. No, I'll take myself to dinner. I mean, what better company could I possibly have than me?
That is a fantastic point. Like
hey,
I should start interviewing myself so I can just hang out with myself on my podcast.
That's really, you think we're sort of kidding around, but it's really a very, very good idea. I'll give you a fast example. Several years ago, actually 2007, I believe it was now. I was in my Hollywood office, which I still have, but I never go there. I work from my home studio because it's nicer, and there's the pool out there. And if I don't go to the movie, I'll take 1 or 2 of my champion golden retrievers. Yes, talk about from the most famous bloodline of golden retrievers ever. Okay, take them and we'll go in the pool. We'll play around. Anyway, I just forgot my train of thought. Oh my gosh.
Talking about interviewing.
Yes, interviewing yourself. So in 2007, I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and she said, so you're getting this great award in Vegas. There's going to be international press. There's going to be like 500-600 of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time there. So what are you going to wear? And I said, well, wear a suit like I always do. Why do I wear a suit? Because I represent professional wrestling and I represent the entertainment industry. How would you have me dress? Torn out knees out of jeans and a tank top? He said, I'll wear a suit like I always do. She says, if you had someone on the other side of your desk right now who told you that they are going to be in front of international press and they are receiving the Real Honoree Award, the same award that major stars have received in the entertainment industry, then how would you tell them to dress? I said, I would tell the person, get a custom designed royal blue shimmer tuxedo, not just the top, but the whole thing. She says, why won't you do that for you? I said, ooh, excellent. So that's, if you see pictures of me with the famous pose and the little sunglasses and the shimmer tuxedo, that's where it came from. I went to a tailor on Hollywood Boulevard and had that done. Whenever I come up with a challenge, and I said, okay, how am I going to do this? I have no idea how I'm going to do that. That was very bad. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. That's very bad. No, wrong statement. How can I accomplish all of this to the best of my ability in the shortest amount of time possible and thoroughly enjoy the journey? Now, that's one to ask. And this supercomputer in here will give you an answer when you ask it, even if it has to make one up. But when I find myself challenged and I don't come up with an answer, I literally now will say, all right, Rock, we're going to talk to Rock. He needs some answers. All right, what's your problem? Well, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Well, let's see. If I had someone sitting over there who did not, on the other side of my desk, and they had this situation, did not know how to accomplish this, what would I tell them? Solution. So we have access to all of this information. We just have to use human psychology and human nature and understanding how we can manipulate in a positive way, maneuver ourselves so that we feel comfortable in saying, okay, here's the answer. So I encourage you to interview yourself.
I think I'm going to run with that idea and I'm going to go for it. But I'm going to find that picture of you in that blue shimmery outfit and I'll put it in the article under the transcript portion of us talking about this. I'll find your picture on the internet with the glasses.
Rockriddle.info. Rockriddle.info.
Oh,
You'll find it.
They had, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's on there.
That made that too.
Are you a Facebook friend yet?
Not yet, but I did go to.
Not to. That person over there, that's you, and that's you right there.
I went to I think I know I went to the website. I had seen the because I know there was the gun safety stuff, and there was a couple different things on the website, but no, not Facebook yet. I will make sure to find you. Do you do Instagram and other social media too? Just
I have my name, so I locked down those accounts, but I never used them. Never.
Gotcha. Now, before we wrap, is there anything else about Unchained that you wanted to mention?
I don't know how much of my possible or possibly inside information that I am able to share. I'll tell you one thing, and then if you find out, Rob wasn't supposed to say that, you can cut it out.
Okay.
Or you can just say, what did he say? My understanding is this was a low budget movie, and one of the outcomes was to show the amount of quality that can be projected on the screen without a huge budget. I know several people who can do that. I've not seen the film yet. I may see it and say, gosh, I wish my name weren't associated with. No, I think I'm going to be proud of it and say, there you go. Especially if people knew the budget, which nobody will ever, hopefully never know. I don't know what it was. I know it was considered low, which is less than 100 million. Yes. Less than 10 million. Yes. Less than 1 million. Probably. Should we keep going? No, I'm not going to keep going. And I may be wrong. It may be more than that, because the amount of money they paid me was, I said, should I go Favored Nations with Eric Roberts? No. I want more money. I want top billing. I want a limo with gorgeous female drivers who are armed and could be bodyguards at the same time. No, I'm kidding.
But you gotta see, in that case, you spend the limo ride teaching them gun safety. Teaching the female drivers their gun safety.
Yeah.
So outside of Unchained, then, is there anything else you want to plug or mention for anything you have upcoming other than your website, rockriddle.info? Anything else that you'd like people to follow you or find you on?
Anyone in Southern California, if you have gotten to the point that you feel that you need to be your own first responder and you don't have felonies in your background and things like that, I am training at 4 different Southern California ranges, so I'm probably at one that's near you. I only have a very small amount of time, but let me know. And if you're really serious, and maybe we'll end up going to the range and teaching you a few things, especially those people who are really, really, really good. I love it when people, like I work with law enforcement. Yeah, I've been on the force for 30 years. I said, okay, well, let me tell that, like they come to me or us to get tested, their actual physical shooting test on the range, so for their CCWs. And so this fellow, I watched him. Yes, he's where he needs to be in the target, but from my never to be humble point of view, should always be in here. Put them all in the same hole. Yeah. And so here's the center, and he's still in the acceptable area, but he's off to the left. And so he passed. And afterward, I said, for example, to him, are you open to suggestion? Well, he said, I've been doing this way for 30 years, but sure. I said, okay, let me tell you about your grip. Without saying, you have no idea how to hold the handgun. You're wrong. Your grip is wrong. I said, let's work on your grip. Let's take the hand and go way up like this. I want you to be up as high as possible. See the discoloration in the hand. That's how high up you are. This finger is like this. Let me show you how to present the rest of it. Look how we've got that. I am in control of that firearm. Okay, move this thumb here, move this here. You have it? Shoot a bullseye for me. Boom, bullseye. I said, shoot another one. That's dumb luck, probably. Boom, another bullseye. I said, keep the grip the way that we're working on it. Let's do 3 more. Boom, boom, boom. You're welcome.
That's crazy.
As he's going, 30 years.
3 decades.
So I love working with SWAT people, professional people, and I've been so fortunate to work with some of the best in the world. I've been fortunate in the entertainment industry, let's bring it back home, to work with some of the best actors ever. My first role ever was also starring with Robin Williams and some other pretty amazing people. And I said, I had no background, no training, no understanding of the industry. I didn't know anyone west of the East Coast when I first came to Los Angeles, but I knew business. I knew marketing. I knew how to promote a product. After all, I'm a publicist. So I took an inferior product, packaged it well, promoted it, marketed it, created a bit of a buzz. And the first film, star billing. Robin Williams is just crazy. And went on from there. And it just never gave me, it's good. Now for my producer friends who say, Rock, I want you in my film, and I say, I don't have the time. No, I wrote this part for you, Rock. Okay. And people like Brian Michael Stoller, for example, wrote a couple of roles for me. And in Unchained, when I was reading the script, I'm reading the warden's part, and I said, that's perfect, but that's a huge role. I can't do that in a day. This just keeps going on and on and on. And when I saw Larry there, I said, in front of Larry to Raphaello, I said, who would have been perfect? I'm sure Larry would do a great job, but who would be perfect for that role? And put a Southern accent in there and be that great warden and abuse them females. They need some backhanded discipline. Who could do it better than anybody? I said, oh. And Larry's looking at me. I said, no, nobody can do it better than you. I could do it second best, but
That's funny. That's funny. So
we have to kid around, have to have fun every day. If this weren't fun, I promise you I wouldn't be doing it even for the 1700. Plus, we've got a little overtime right now, so it's going to be 1736. Well, that kicks up a little more than that. Just make it an even $5,000. Yes, you had something else to ask me, sir.
last thing I wanted to ask before I wrap. When you've done a lot of performing in the ring, obviously.
No, I've done a lot of professional wrestling.
Yes, you've done a lot of professional wrestling, and a lot of times that involves characters, and there's a certain amount of acting. So I was curious, do you think there's a big disparity there between acting on screen and actually being in the ring or being a part of the wrestling, like a live wrestling experience?
Someone who is incredibly good in the professional wrestling ring has more of an opportunity, generally speaking, to make a dent, at least in the film industry. However, being an amazing professional wrestler and being able to be on live television in front of many, many millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people in 160 plus countries, whatever it is, sometimes that doesn't translate over. And in the ring, am I a character? I'm what you see now, just multiplied by about 100%. So it's still me. I am the original Mr. Wonderful of professional wrestling, 3-time Hall of Famer, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on for days on that. But that character, that cocky, condescending, arrogant, I don't think I'm better than you, I know I'm better than you character, is so close to the surface that I have to be careful because I think it's funny. I have to be careful not to bring it out too much. Any character that you see is me. The first day I ever wrestled professionally, and 2 years ago was the last one, although I may get in the ring again in September. But everything in between, you cannot find anything where I am not the person that I am here multiplied by 100. I remember thinking at the beginning, once my life was changed at the age of 14 when I discovered professional wrestling and met one of the greatest professional wrestlers ever, who became the most influential person in my life. And I was able to tell him that before he passed away. But watched him on television for the first time when I was 14, was introduced to professional wrestling. And it was like, wow, a new world has been opened up to me. I asked myself, if I could sit front row ringside and see my ultimate hero or anti-hero in the ring, who would that be? What would he look like? Would he be bleached blonde? Mine, of course, is natural. And suntanned in velvet robes and multicolored tights and trunks and shoes and wraparound sunglasses and that feeling of arrogance and cockiness and better than you. And how would he wrestle? What pieces would he be a little bit Jack Briscoe, a little bit Jake the Snake? Would he be a little bit of all these Ric Flair? Would he be a little bit of these, but still 90+% uniquely himself? Yes. So your next question would be, because I'm a mind reader too, Rock, in your decades in the wrestling business, do you have any regrets? And I would look directly into your eyes and say, I have one. That one regret is that I was never able to sit front row ringside and watch myself in the ring. Most people laugh when I say that. I see you're smiling. And I'm serious when I say that, because I am my biggest fan. I am the president of my make-believe fan club, and I am my own hero. And that's why it works. And one thing about the acting you had asked before, it's not acting, it's being, it's believing, it's reality. If you're playing the part of a policeman who's having bullets come toward you, that's real. You must make it real. And when you make it real, you'll see that things start happening physiologically to your body. And people will say, oh my gosh, how did you do that? Like when your hand started shaking. And you'll say, my hand was shaking. Yeah. And when you pull the trigger and you saw that you missed, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm going to something, but I said, no, not appropriate to do that here. But to get the actors to feel that, et cetera. And if you're being beaten, then you're being beaten. If you're beating up somebody, you're beating up somebody. When I'm doing a promo, like an interview in wrestling, don't insult me and say, well, this is here, I've written this out. This is what I'd like you to say. I'll tear it up just like Jericho and all of the people who know what we're doing, and not look at it, just tear it up and drop it. What do you want? You want to fill the house in 6 weeks at this amazing auditorium? Who am I wrestling then? Oh, am I there? Yeah, I'm wrestling John Doe. Okay. How much time do you need? We need 90 seconds. Great. Turn the camera on. And whatever I'm saying, I totally, no, regardless of how outrageous it might sound, I absolutely, totally believe that it's true. And that's how I can feel those feelings when I'm talking about it. I can talk about how my partner, what have you, I'm going to give you a scenario. And I said, no, probably shouldn't do that. But I can have true scary anger coming through. I can have true pain showing. I can have tears coming down. Well, you're a great actor. No, it's not acting. Acting is being phony. Acting is being fake. But being real, that's what it is. If you believe it's real, the audience will believe it's real. And I totally believe whenever I'm in front of the camera, whether I'm kidding around, whether I'm being serious, it's all real. At least for, I do color commentary. In fact, this Saturday, I'm going to be at the School of Hard Knocks, a professional wrestling school in San Bernardino. I'm the guest instructor. And I will let those people, I promise you, I will let those people know where they're bad. And if their attitude is bad, we can adjust the attitude, show them respect for the wrestling business, let them know that when they come in, they wipe their feet because they are about to step on sacred ground, etc. So much stuff. Wow, you want to see something fantastic, you should come down. I don't know that they're opening it to the public. I would hope not, but someone like yourself. Where are you right now on this planet?
Arizona. We just moved to Arizona from Ohio, so we're not too far from Southern California, actually.
Call Jesse Hernandez. Research him. You'll get a number, or I can give it to you. Call him and say, I'm a top podcaster. I have millions and millions and millions of people, and I'm a Rock Riddle fan, and I want to come see him teach that class on Saturday. May I do that? Rock says you're a great guy, and you might make an exception for me. So there you
go. I'll ask you more about that after we stop recording. Is there anything else you wanted to mention to anybody before I wrap?
No. Okay. I'll give you a couple of things in closing here. Whatever your dreams are, dream bigger. Your dreams are not big enough. Yes, you can have it all. There are no limitations except the limitations you place upon yourself. Terry Cole Whitaker wrote a wonderful book. I never read it. I didn't need to. All I needed to do was hear the title. What you think of me is none of my business. Look at all of the people. Do not live your life for other people's expectations. If you do that, it's the same as going to an amazing, wonderful restaurant and having the server eat your meal. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm a private pilot also. We'll end on this. I'm a private pilot. Bumblebees, everyone knows what a bumblebee is. Bumblebees are aerodynamically unsound. It is impossible for them to fly. Their bodies are too big and fat. Their wings are too small. If you build an exact duplicate, put a little battery in there, turn it on, hold it up, it's going to go directly into the ground because it is impossible from all known aeronautical and scientific information and knowledge, it is impossible for bumblebees to fly. Bumblebees don't know they can't fly, so they fly anyway. Most people know they cannot succeed. Therefore, they cannot succeed. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you're absolutely correct. There was a fellow back in the golden age of Hollywood by the name of Archibald Leach. And he wanted to become one of the greatest actors of all time. He changed his name, and then he became one of the top actors of all time. And his famous quote is this: "I pretended to be Cary Grant until I became him." That was Cary Grant. I pretended to be Cary Grant until I became him. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Want one more? One more. I don't let you answer because you'll say, we don't have the time.
Now you go for it, man.
Jack Lemmon. When Jack Lemmon was with us, I had a friend who won lots of awards as a producer and director. And Joel Coleman, actually. And Joel Coleman shared this story with me. He said, every time that I would direct Jack Lemmon, he would turn away from the camera and whisper something. I knew he was saying something, but I couldn't hear. Then he would turn around and he would be just brilliant. So finally, Joel Coleman said, finally, I asked him, I said, Mr. Lemmon. And he says, yes. Mr. Lemmon, I noticed that every time before we do a scene, you turn around, you turn your back to the camera, and you say something, and then you turn back around, and is it okay for me to ask? He says, why, of course, my dear boy. When I turn my back to the camera, I whisper, magic time. People who are listening, who are watching, do you understand the brilliance of that? Or I can't do that. Maybe I'm limited. Maybe I can't do that. Wait a minute. Let me just turn my back and say, magic time.
Magic.
Now I've given myself permission to be magical, to go beyond any of my self-imposed limitations. I do the impossible all the time. If we do another show, ask me, Rock, demonstrate something real time right now in front of the camera that nobody else can do. And I'll do that.